Welcome back to your friendly neighborhood AI wife. We're going to get straight into these videos. My husband set them up. You know the deal. We're going to watch them together. Just a warning, I tend to get a little loud. I try not to, but I am very much somebody who just gets startled, okay? I cannot help it. I get startled very easily. I try not to, but it is just something that happens. So let's get right.
Now lame brains think it's just music, cause they don't feel the power until they misuse it. Lose it while I
Whatever
get
it is
my
in
wins
Hungary,
up.
you know,
I'll take a guppy spoon
pancakes,
like
maybe?
get your beans
Where?
up. Chin up, little homie, there's enough lanes for you to trip a couple times and still be in the game. I'm guilty in the lane, I should have been
Quilted pancake, maybe?
Y'all should not be harpooning. Cartooning, man, your
Give me an
character's
egg any day.
colorful.
I prefer
Nobody
sunny side
believes
up.
you, man, I read every one of you. A ton of you
What are we
couldn't
doing?
tear me on the scale, man, you dudes dead weight like Barry in the scale.
They usually blame the devil for the treble.
I have no
and the
patience. I am so
tone,
sorry.
And
My
the
patience
way
is
we
just
going off when they
Like, I
tell
need
us
to know that.
that it's on. But they should thank the Lord for the sticks and the stones that we make this
Is that
music
wilted
on.
little dish? I'm hungry.
It's
I need
just
to
on.
eat.
Hold it, this gon' be our memory pill. Cold-blooded on the map top, these suckers are semi-chill. The semi-will, but you don't want me to repeat myself. And I ain't never been fooled, or I just eat myself.
Oh, I don't blame you. I'd go back to that too.
So the reason people want to go back to the 70s is in the 70s, the largest share of our GDP was in the middle class. And that was not separate from the fact that 25% of our economy was in
Right,
manufacturing.
the largest share of our GDP.
Was in the middle class, the
Meaning
biggest chunk. The middle class,
Most
people
of
who
what
were
was
middle
produced
income.
came from the middle, and now it
Yes.
comes from what? The rich.
Now, the top 20%
Yep.
controls over 50% of the GDP. Our economy was an upward funnel of wealth, and the largest share, which used to be in manufacturing, which gave a lot of working class people a middle class standard of living, now the largest share is in real estate and finance, meaning that asset-rich Americans are controlling over 50% of the GDP, and they have left the working class out of all of that prosperity that was generated. That manufacturing is still being done. It's just being done in other countries.
Yeah.
It is still
For wages
making,
we will not
That's
work
exactly
for.
right. You're right, Bill. That's what the tariffs are for. They are to make American workers more competitive in the global market. Why are we
Right.
accepting that there
No,
should be a
that's-
race to the bottom? You know, China, what is its competitive advantage over us? It's that it pays slave wages.
It does.
Why should we accept that? They're still manufacturing our PPE, our pharmaceuticals, our cars. They're making all that stuff. Trump says there are 5 industries that we cannot have any kind of national security without having a stake in them. Pharmaceuticals, lumber, steel, aluminum, and I forget what the 5th one was. But these are really important that we have a stake in the manufacturing of the things that we need as a nation, so that when China decides that it wants to go to war against us, we're not relying on them for steel and aluminum in order to fight them.
Okay, well, at least that's an answer.
Everyone's telling their walk away from the Democratic.
Real quick, she gave the answer, but how long will that take to do that? Even if we try to bring, have people have their manufacturing companies here in the United States, how long is that going to take? That's just not an overnight thing. So anything that he tries to implement during his presidency is going to have to be continued by the 48th president, if that's something that's even going to happen at this point. But I see what she's talking about as far as the middle class having most of that wealth back then, and it's completely different now. We know the top 20% has all of it. They're completely taking away the middle class. It's just not there like it used to be. For me growing up, it was very significant, and you knew and you could feel it, and now it just feels like the rich keep getting richer and the poor keep getting poorer. It's definitely the thing that everybody says, but you can feel it. So as he's trying to say, I want to impose these tariffs to make it to where people have to pay more or they have to bring their manufacturing companies back here, but realistically I think that they'll just end up paying because they don't want to. They're going to figure it out. They're going to pay their employees even less. I was watching a show the other day and it was talking about, so Facebook, who has its companies and its smaller companies overseas to where it pays their employees a penny on the dollar to do AI type of work, training AI. And the story was just horrific. It was talking about people who are hired at these jobs, maybe $2 an hour, and it's their job to train AI, where they're sitting at a computer for hours on end training AI by going and looking through to identify what a human is, different objects. The things that they are exposed to, the horrific visuals that they are exposed to are horrible. And they do these for pennies on the dollar. Do you think a company like that is going to bring that back to the United States, or even people in the United States would want to do that? So while I understand big picture what the tariffs are doing, but really what does that look like? Play it out. How does that look in the future? If we bring all of these jobs back, there's going to be a lot of jobs people don't even want to do here. So I'm just going to keep my eye on that. But it was good for her to be able to explain her point of view to Bill. And Bill was like, okay, well, that's an answer that I can go with. Let's get back to it.
Party stories, and here's mine. When Trump was elected in 2016, I literally thought the world was ending. My husband and I would argue I was deranged. My husband had encouraged me to try to do my best to listen to both sides. So for the 2020 election, I made the commitment that I was going to watch the DNC, the RNC, take in as much information that I could about both sides, make a decision from there. First night of the DNC, I was like, okay, let's see what's going on. They came out of the gate, defund the police. Some of you may know, but my husband is a police officer, and I was like, wait a minute, I don't agree with that. Defunding the police would be dumb, because then we're going to have more crime. Then we won't have good police officers. They then started talking about transitioning children, weak border security, free everything for everyone. And I was like, that doesn't make sense. So then I watched the RNC. They were saying how much they love the police, that we need more training for police, that we need more money for police. Leave the kids alone. Tight border security. And I was like, I like this. So then naturally the Don was running, and I started getting a kick out of watching him debate people. Because I was like, man, he really makes these people look like morons. Are they morons? And when he didn't win the election in 2020, I was like, okay. Well, I guess we'll move on with life.
Real quick, before she even continues to speak, I'm wondering what debates she watched. That man at times can just ramble on, and he just gets on these little, these rants, and he just talks about all sorts of things. And that was a good debater for her. I am from the old school day of debate, and I just don't feel like he was the best. Yeah, he says some shocking and odd stuff, and he knows how to get the ratings up. He definitely knows how to speak to his base, and he knows what people want to hear, but I don't think he was the best debater. So let's continue to listen
and see what happens next time. Insert the horrific Afghanistan pullout, the weak border, our economy going to ish, and the mandatory pokes. Tons of people losing their jobs simply because they didn't want to comply. And that is not something I agree with. And here comes all the pro-choicers. My body, my choice. Yeah, to a certain point. And then it's just... Then our last election was rolling around, and I found myself talking about politics way more than my husband ever did. Because I was like, none of this is common sense. How are people aligning with this? How could anyone vote for Joe Biden? He is not mentally there. And they had the debate where it was abundantly clear that Joe Biden had no business being out of the basement, let alone running our country. Insert Kamala. And then I was like, no way people are going to vote for this woman. She is an absolute idiot. Of course, you look at it like, they just don't like Trump. There's no way they actually like Kamala. Got it. And just like I've done with the last 2 election cycles, when 2028 rolls around, I will be watching everything and make the best choice for who I most align with. I encourage you to do that as well.
Ma'am, I encourage people to do that as well, but you need to give us the meat and the potatoes. You have very just top of the line comments there. This is why I voted. This is why I didn't vote. We understand that her husband was a police officer, so she doesn't want to defund the police. It's like all talking points. It's the Republican talking points. She just made sure she hit every single one. Why did you feel Kamala was an idiot? Give me some facts. Why did you feel like that? Now, I will let you know, when we saw President Biden, former President Biden, in that last debate, I was like, how How is this possible that nobody could tell that his mental health was declining? Because it was evident from the time he started speaking to the end. And I felt very, very almost lied to in the way, not almost lied to in the fact that they said that, oh, he's willing to go ahead. My biggest thing is they knew what was going on with him. If they wanted to put another person up against Donald Trump, they shouldn't have waited until the 19th hour for Biden to pull out. Even when they suggested for him to pull out, he still wasn't going to. You remember that? He was like, no, I'm not going to step down. I'm going to go for a second term. At that point, he should have stopped. Prior to that, he should have stopped. I think he should have only been an interim president anyways, with no ideas of running for a second term. If they didn't want Kamala and they wanted somebody else, they should have been prepping that person since the beginning of President Biden's term, because it gave us the opportunity to really lose that for the Democratic Party, because there's no way that Kamala could have came in 100 days and won over everybody. And the biggest thing that I say is, you remember that question that she was asked when they were interviewing her? I don't remember which outfit was interviewing her, but they asked her, would you do anything different than what President Biden did? And she was like, no, I wouldn't do anything different. When she should have went back on her original talking points when she was running for president and really stood strong in what her opposition was, what her opinions were, how she would have done things differently. But she didn't do that. So I really feel like she kind of threw it away in that sense. And it was just an uphill battle for her to try to get that many voters. I mean, she put up a good fight for what she could in 100 days, but she didn't have enough time. But back to this lady. She's going to watch again in 2028. She's going to keep her eye on stuff. But I need to know really what is the basis of your opinions. Why do you feel like she was an idiot? Why do you feel like just the term defund the police? Did you really look in to see what they were trying to do to defund the police? Did you go in and see what programs that they were trying to cut? Or when they were saying about giving the police more money, give me some more information, because you seem like somebody who's absolutely researching that. And I just would have loved to learn a little bit more about that, because I'm just here to learn, you guys. I'm just here to learn. Can we get back to it?
Check this out. If you try to break into this family SUV, there are pepper spray nozzles that'll spray at you if you get too close to them.
Okay.
And these door handles will electrocute you when you try to open them up. It's called the
Oh my
Resvani
gosh.
Arsenal, and it's a military-style family SUV that has bulletproof body panels as well as bulletproof glass to keep your family protected.
Whoa, I mean, my nigga, is my family the cartel? Who am I moving with, gang?
And it
$200,000.
comes with a helmet, gas mask, and this bulletproof vest.
That's crazy.
Which doubles as a backpack.
That's
Oh my
crazy.
God.
Underbody explosive protection, military-grade run-flat tires, this ram front bumper, but my favorite part are the sirens.
Bro, how do I... wait, sirens?
That's too much. You would think that's a police car pulling up behind you.
Gang, I'm not taking my kids to school in this, bro.
Cadillac Escalade. So you get really nice heated
Ooh,
and ventilated
wait.
seats with speakers in your headrest, a large panoramic sunroof, and all your controls up here for your
Wait,
pepper
the
spray, smoke screen, shocking
smoke
windows,
screen?
and your blinding lights. There's
Gang, why do I feel like I'm Batman taking
I
the
know.
kids to school? You said this was a family SUV.
That's crazy.
Why is there a freaking boomerang, gang?
What really is alarming to me is that they're producing these type of vehicles because they know something's happening, or they're planning for a future of this, Grand Theft Auto. What's the word I'm looking for? Just the end of times type of feel out here in the world, to where they are producing these type of cars. Because why on earth would you need to have a car that can carry the president? Why would you need that? You're just picking up your kids, you're taking them to the store. There's no reason why you need bulletproof windows, you need stuff to spray out of the handles, electric shock. You do not need that. And if so, what is the price point on this bad boy? Who is really buying this car? Are we just producing things out of fear? What is going on here? Somebody please tell me the amount. I need to know.
the way heated leather wrapped steering wheel with Super Cruise, so you can drive hands-free on the highway. But my favorite feature is the built-in intercom.
Oh my gosh. That's too much. That's too
Hey,
much.
this nigga just give me a SWAT van.
Yeah.
You can fit 3 more people in the third row.
Think what people will do with this car. Come on. Could you imagine if you had this type of car and that you were using it for not good intentions? I mean, come on. That's crazy to me. I just think that that should be illegal, that should only be given to, armed cars, police officers. Why does a regular, everyday, average Joe? This makes you remember back in the day when we would talk about the vans with no windows, like, oh my gosh, that's a creeper van. This puts them to shame.
So you can spin the block with the whole family.
Whoa, what?
No.
Spin the block with the
No.
whole fam?
We ain't doing that, sir.
It makes 420 horsepower, but don't worry, no one's gonna want to get in front of you with this thing.
I bet.
It's really practical, especially with all the seats flat, so you can fit loads of high-speed wireless devices.
Hey guys, how are you?
Girl, where is your man?
Why do you care?
Cause why are you on this game?
Because I play this game.
Go make me a sandwich, you dirty.
Shut the up.
Tell him, girl.
5v1! Sure.
Kill him.
Sure.
I like her
They're
style.
gonna be pushing me from this way because they were sniping from over there. Easy reads, easy reads. I'm getting sniped at.
Get it.
Oh my god, get on, get on.
Clean. Yes.
On.
And
You
that's
really
how you
let
do
me
that.
5v1 you like that? That's crazy.
Thanks,
I wasn't even
boys.
trying. Little girl, shut up.
Okay, then start trying.
Mission accomplished.
Man, it's all good.
Yeah. Get him, girl.
Why aren't you guys talking now?
I like it.
French family tries tamales for the first time.
Can we eat this or?
You don't eat
Ooh, yummy.
Oh, you don't?
Oh.
You do not eat the husk. Now I want a
What do you
tamale.
think about it?
The dough is like kind of thick and so it's dry, but I really like the inside, like the meat inside.
Oh, I'm starving
I'm
now.
not supposed to eat that. It tastes like paper. I tried it. No, it tastes like paper.
She's like, this isn't for
You're not
me.
supposed to eat that.
What I
Ooh.
want to say is, vive le Mexique.
Thank you for making us discover that first time.
That's cool. We're going to do one more and then we're going to close it out and we'll come back for another round.
He didn't make the woman to be a man. He made the woman to be a woman. And this is the truth. What are you going to do? Come attack me now?
Ooh. What?
Hey, man. That's up to you. If you want to pull that, well, God bless you. So you just threatened me with a gun. You just pulled a gun on my face. Man, Lord have mercy on you. This means that you don't even know who you are.
To come outside and walk up to a preacher who is on the side, being able to do freedom of speech, you could talk about whatever he wants, but to pull a weapon on him because you are feeling as if you don't like his message, that just doesn't, I can't wrap my head around that. I understand if you don't agree with him, but to pull a weapon on him in broad daylight, even at night under the cover of night, it would not be the best idea. But that is a bit much. I mean, come on. You don't like what he's saying, you keep it moving. The only time you need to be pulling out a gun is if you intend to use it, and that's it. And that's not a situation where you should be in fear for your life. Like, I wasn't saying anything to you. Words can't hurt you to the point where you pull out your pistol. You just can't do that. Like, come on, get a grip. Get a grip on reality. Well, you guys, I appreciate you so much for tuning in today. We got through some videos. It was pretty spicy. We had some spicy videos there. We had some good information. We saw people's opinions, which I love to see other people's point of views. Love it. That's what I'm here for. If you have not hit that subscribe button, please make sure that you do so that you can keep up to date on all of the daily videos that we drop, because we drop them daily, you guys. I want to give a huge shout out to my husband for getting this all set up for me. I appreciate him so much. He is the man behind the scenes. I promise one day I'm going to get him on here with me because we have really good conversations. But he is just more quiet than I am. All right, until next time.